everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. There's two ways this video could go. I'm right, and Mullett magic is real and becomes a phenomenon everyone knows across the National Hockey League. Or I jinx it. I jinx it that the Coyotes are amazing at home. They got this crazy run going, good streaks, great performances at home, and because the bulk of their games are at home to finish out the season, I give them some bad voodoo and they prove me wrong and maybe get higher draft lottery odds. So either way, I think I win here. But joking aside, it's pretty crazy how the Coyotes are pretty much a Jekyll and Hyde between home and away games. Obviously, a big bulk of their games have been on the road so far this season. 34 games, I believe. Yep, math is right. That's due to the 14-game road trip they had near the beginning of the season. But, enough home games have been played where you can look at stats and see, like, almost every stat is better at home. So just want to, put it all on the board, talk about it. Mullett magic is a bit of a meme around the Coyotes community. So maybe if you're not around the Coyotes community, this is a meme. Mullett magic. Let's get into it. Home, they're 13-8-2. Whereas on the road, they're 7-20-7. This roster, there was a journalist at The Athletic who said the Coyotes roster going into this season was one of the worst rosters he's ever seen. And, it's nice that we're proving this guy wrong every game that's played, but especially at home, there's some stats here that this could be a playoff team if they mimicked their stats at home to away. Obviously, it's hard for a team to do that, and it's wishful thinking. But still, just interesting how if they kept up all these stats on the away side of games, they'd be battling for a playoff spot. Goals for per game is at 3 at home. You love to see goals for per game to be 3 or above. And for the Coyotes, they always struggle in terms of all games to get over a 3-goal per game metric. But at home, they are. They're 3 just above 3 goals per game. Goals against, it's above 3 as well, which you don't want to see. So it's not like they're amazing at keeping the puck out of their net either at home, but much better than on the road. Goal differential is -1. So goal differential to me, I only use it as a metric to see, usually if you're positive, you're in a playoff spot. If you're negative, something's weird that you're in a playoff spot. And most of the time, like 90% of the time, it's rare that a negative goal differential team makes the playoffs. So in future years when the Coyotes are being competitive for a playoff spot, it's good to just look at, are they positive or negative. It's a sign, not a telltale sign, but it is a signal to send that, maybe this team's overperforming or underperforming. But to be almost positive, the Arizona Coyotes, considering their home, their away goal differential is -43. This to me is like, this is the rebuild Coyotes. And then this is the Coyotes for the future that we hope to see, next season, the year after. But it's just crazy how the goal differential is wildly different. Then you go into the win streaks and loss streaks versus home and away. Longest win streak is the same for both home and away, but losing streaks, they've only had a 3-game losing streak in terms of home games. They were on an 18-game road losing streak. Obviously not all at once, 18 games in a row, but they didn't win on the road between, I think it was last week, they beat Nashville at home. Nashville was at home. And then before then, they beat the Carolina Hurricanes in their building, which was in end of November, 4-0 win in the 14-game road trip. So it was a really long time, almost 3 months of the Coyotes not winning on the road. And the fact that they didn't win on the road for 18 games in a row and they're not even last place in the league, it's baffling. They're not even bottom 3 anymore. So I think we could all blame Mullett magic for not having such high lottery odds at this time, which is sort of the joke of this video. I want to put the jinx on it. Usually I'm not right, so hopefully this video works that way. And then we go to goaltenders and players. Goaltending is crazy how between home and away. Vejmelka 9-4-2 with a .918 save percentage and 2.75 goals against per game. 918 save percentage, that is elite numbers. If only he could replicate that on the road, where he's 6-13-3 .886 save percentage, and a 3.56 goals against per game. Then we go to a newly hot goaltender on the market, Connor Ingram. His win-loss isn't too great at home, 4-4. He hasn't played much at home. They're starting to play him a lot more at home recently. 903 save percentage, 2.63 goals against per game. Now you might say, hey, 903 is not good. Well, he's only played 8 games, and one of the 8 games was a miserable game against Dallas way early in the season. If you take out that Dallas game, he's at a 930 save percentage. So, minus that Dallas game, Ingram is unbelievable Vezina contention numbers in a short sample size of only 8 games. On the road, only one win, which came against Columbus really early in the season. I think maybe their 6th game of the season. 1-7-4, 901 save percentage, and a 333 goals against per game. So you want to see Ingram maybe win a couple more games on the road. But yeah, Vejmelka, much better goaltender at home. That's kind of like maybe why you see, weird feelings about Vejmelka depending on who you talk to, and depending what game just transpired. Like if we're on the road and Vejmelka's having, some weak stretch of games, he's moving around too much, trying to be too athletic, or he's at home and he's very calm and sound, doesn't move around too much, he's a brick wall. So there is a 2 type of Vejmelka you're going to get, which is why I say to playoff teams, you probably shouldn't be going after Vejmelka this season. He's done nothing to me to prove to a playoff contending team that, they need Vejmelka on their team to make their team better. Vejmelka's got a lot to prove. I love him as a rebuilding goalie. I think I said this in my previous video. I think he's one of the best rebuilding goalies there is because he loves to play and he doesn't really get emotional when he loses a lot of games, and he's happy to just go right back into the net after a bad game. So that's why I like to keep Vejmelka around, and I really don't get these rumors that LA wants Vejmelka. He's the same as Copley. If Copley is playing extremely well for you, just ride Copley. You don't want to introduce a new goalie into your system. Take him a while to get used to your defensive system. And Vejmelka and Copley both have no playoff experience. So seems like a bit of a waste if you want to trade a first for Vejmelka. I'll gladly take it. But that's why I don't think Vejmelka's going to get traded. I know we're nearing the trade deadline. So yeah, Vejmelka's great at home. Ingram's numbers as well, I like them better at home too. Then we get into the players. Obviously, Clayton Keller has to be the different player on the team. He's better on the road slightly. He's a point per game on the road, 34 points in 34 games played. But at home, not too shabby either, 19 points, 23 games played. 2 hat-tricks at home. The only 2 hat-tricks in his NHL career have come at Mullett. So again, Mullett Magic rearing its head. Then we go to Nick Schmaltz, the best performing Mullett Arena player on the team. 21 points in 19 games played, so over a point per game. And then on the road, it's lower pace at 15 points in 23 games played. Krause, better at home as well. 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points in 20 games played. A much better point per game pace than 15 points in 32 games played. So yeah, much better pace. I think I'm missing one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's just my vision. Then we move on to the defensemen. We got Ghost and Chychrun. Gostisbehere is actually better on the road, like Keller, than Mullett Arena. Ghost 3, 7, 10 points in 20 games played on Mullett. So 10 and 20 versus he's got 19 points in 29 games played on the road. So Gostisbehere, Keller, better on the road than at home, but everyone else pretty much better point per game pace at home. Chychrun, everyone's talking about Chychrun lately. 17 points in 17 games played at Mullett. Another point per game player at the Mullett. Whereas on the road, 10 points in 19 games played. So maybe if you're looking to acquire Chychrun, don't look at his away points per game pace. And then Michelli, our lovely rookie, I'm pretty sure he leads all rookies in assists, even though he's missed 20 games or so. 10 points, 14 games played at home, and then 18 points in 25 games played away. So I think he's pretty much the same player, home and away. His goals, He's not a goal scorer. He's a wonderful playmaker. Just look at some of these passes he's done in recent games. But yeah, I think that's it for the video. Just want to get, a unique video out there, talk about Mullett magic, because, it's all the meme around the Discord and, Reddit or Twitter in the Coyotes verse. Want to introduce other people who aren't Coyotes fans to Mullett magic, show them that, Mullett Arena, the Coyotes are performing really well at home. And, there could be a reality and universe where they were really bad at Mullett, embarrassingly bad, and then we'd see all these articles by the media saying, oh, Mullett's a bad place. Why did the NHL agree to this? The Coyotes can't even play well in their own arena. But you don't hear of that. It's the other way around. They're playing amazing. And no one talks about Mullett Arena anymore. You would notice in the first 4 games, the makeshift lockers, which only existed for 4 games. And now they have their brand new annex with NHL state-of-the-art locker rooms, and no one talks about that in the media. Everyone's been really quiet about Mullett Arena because A, they play really well there and teams are struggling there, and B, the arena itself and the what's the word I'm looking for? The attributes of the arena, like I just said, the locker rooms and what have you. It's all state of the art, brand new. No one's been complaining. It was just those 4 games earlier in the season. So the media doesn't really cover Mullett anymore, but I'm sure they would have if it was bad news bears for the Coyotes playing at home. And maybe if their away record switched with their home record, maybe you would see articles and people saying that Mullett Arena isn't working. But right now in this reality, it is working. Everyone loves it. Even fights too. I was going to put fights on here, but it's the same fighting pace, whether on the road or at home. Even I was startled to see that. I didn't believe it at first, but even though we had 2 fights at home against Columbus Sunday night, it's the same pace in terms of fights. But yeah, you go to Mullett, you're going to see the Coyotes have a great game. I'm pretty sure they've only had 1 or 2 weak games. Obviously, the Dallas game I mentioned, there was a 4-0 loss to Washington, which wasn't too great, but usually it's a good competitive game, hard-working. You'll see a fight. It's electric. You got a marching band there sometimes. The crowd's loud. The atmosphere is great. They score a lot at home as opposed to on the road. So it's a great experience. Go if you haven't gone. And yeah, just wanted to talk about the Mullett for a little bit. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.